morning.
Good morning. If we'd known that the weather on this side of the Wash was so much better than in Lincolnshire.
We've crossed the Wash months ago. Months ago. Yeah.
It's
We
now
got down here and it's just immediately blue and sunny all the
been
time.
lovely. It's now Sunday, so 3 days since we did the Wash.
Mm-hmm. And it's a bank holiday weekend, so there's a lot of boats out.
And we're just about recovered now.
Just about.
We were exhausted.
Yesterday we walked into Denver and saw the windmill on the way into Denver and met some horses and some llama/alpaca. I'm not sure which it was.
I think they were alpaca.
Probably alpaca. They were ornery. They had funny looking boots.
And
it turns out the entirety of Denver is smaller than, like, probably the Denver Art Museum. Like, it's a tiny little town. I mean, it's not tiny, but it's definitely not a big town. So that was interesting. I was like, I'm pretty sure the airport is like several times the size of.
He means Denver, Colorado.
Yes, yeah, the Mile High City, not the Mile Away City. So yeah, we're gonna go on to the Relief Channel, which means going through a small lock over that way.
And then back towards Kings Lynn, but not all the way to Kings Lynn.
No, to the limit of navigation before Kings Lynn on the Relief Channel. And then there are 3 mooring areas down there. There's one at Downham Market, one at, well, I can't remember.
There's the Heron and the Cock.
The Heron and it may not be named the Cock anymore. Anyway, it's a pub down there. There's 2 pub moorings and one in Downham Market. And by all accounts, the middle one at the Heron is already busy with cruiser boats.
Okay.
And the far one is near where the cruisers go to do water skiing. So I'm not sure how much room there will be. But we're hoping to get down there so we can walk to a really cool little church.
But we'll find out. And it's really funny because the Relief Channel, I didn't even know it was a thing. But then when I was making my waterways map, I was trying to find every navigable waterway. And I was like, the Relief Channel, what is that? So
now we're going to go find out.
Yeah.
The lock is open. A boat came up a second ago, so it's set for us. Well, I don't know if it's open, but it's set for us, so we're going to go now.
I'm going to run across there rather than getting George on, if that's all right.
Fair enough.
Or do you not want me to?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
The Denver Lock area is rather lovely, and we're grateful for these visitor moorings, which meant that we could stop and recover from the Wash crossing and explore a little bit of the surrounding area. The Great Ouse and its tributaries are managed by the Environment Agency and not the Canal and River Trust, and as we've known for a while that we'd be heading this way, we purchased a gold licence at the beginning of the year instead of our usual Canal and River Trust licence. Most of the EA moorings seem to be only 48 hours, and so as we've reached that limit, we're off. It's a little bit of a walk through the Denver complex to get to the huge Relief Channel lock, which was installed in 2001. Michael was right, the previous boat has left it open and ready for us. What we normally call paddles or sluices seem to be called slackers on these waterways, and on this lock the slackers are operated electronically with our newly purchased nav key. There's some helpful instructions here detailing how to operate the lock, as well as this map showing the mooring locations along the Relief Channel. Because the lock's electric, the water drains in a rather controlled manner, so everything feels very safe. Below the lock, we have a sharp turn onto the Relief Channel itself, and there's a short pontoon lock landing where Michael will stop to pick George and me up. Once we're all safely aboard, we set off for our Relief Channel cruising adventure. Up there is the A.J. Wright Head Sluice, which controls the water flow from the main river down to the relief channel. So we've just joined the relief channel and first impressions are that it's wide.
It's wide and it's straight.
And the speed limit on here is 7 miles an hour?
Yes, that's what the 7 square over there.
Well, I didn't know if it was miles or kilometres.
It's miles.
7 miles an hour. So there might be some speedy cruisers along here, but I guess we'll find out. The relief channel is 11 miles long, and we're going to be travelling along it for just under 7 miles, to the limit of the navigation near Wigan Hall St Mary. It's such a shame that we can't cruise on the last 4 miles to King's Lynn, as we'd have loved to have visited there too, after whizzing past on the tidal Great Ouse last week. The relief channel is wide and straight, and while there isn't much to see from the boat, there's a lot of wildlife about, and it's actually very pleasant in the spring sunshine. Ahead is Haygates Mill, which has been on this site in Downham Market since 1958. Opposite the mill are the first set of visitor moorings, which are on riser rails to keep boats safe when the water level changes. From the moorings you can cross this road bridge to walk into the town of Downham Market itself. We're hoping to stop here on our way back, but for now we're continuing on. After that first lone paddleboarder, we see lots coming our way. I wonder if there's an event on. We keep to the right hand side of the navigation to give them lots of space. This is the West Head Road Bridge, and right by the bridge you can see the Heron Pub, conveniently located next to the second set of moorings, which are incredibly popular today. There's no chance we're getting on there right now, they're already moored 3 deep. I guess this is the place to be on a sunny bank holiday weekend. Although proposed by Vermeulen in the 1600s to help prevent flooding of the Ouse, the relief channel wasn't actually built until 1964 and only made accessible to boats in 2001 when the lock was built. This is the Wigan Hall St Mary Bridge, and just after the bridge is the third set of moorings, which are blissfully empty. We plan to stop here, but of course first we need to go all the way to the end of the current navigation, which is a mile or so on from here. The smell of this water treatment works announces its proximity well before we see it. Let's just say it's preferable not to be downwind of it. In the distance we can see the tower of the ruined Wigan Hall St Mary Church that we shot past when we were on the tidal Great Ouse. The relief channel essentially runs parallel to the river all the way from Denver to King's Lynn. This bridge marks the current limit of navigation, so here is where we turn. Beyond here is a water skiing club, so you really don't want to continue beyond here if the skiers are out on the water anyway. So now back to the Wigan Hall St Mary moorings we go. Well, that was pleasant.
Yeah, indeed.
It was really nice.
It was very wide the whole way, very straight the whole way. The only obstacle really was,
Very small thing.
Yeah, the only obstacles really were a bunch of paddleboarders who were out. One of whom was massively in front of the other one.
Yeah, I think
We decided his name was Jerry.
they might have been having a race.
Yeah, but that one guy was just blowing everybody away. Because he was so far ahead that we were both just like, did the starting gun, like somebody dropped something and he went, well, that's the gun! And he started going and everything. Because he's like a half mile to a mile ahead of everybody else before they get started. And they're all sitting there going, bloody Jerry!
He was working so hard as well.
Yeah,
he was
just really cranking it towards this buoy that they'd set up at the end. And yeah, I'd hate to have him get halfway back and somebody pass him and be like, here, that wasn't the gun!
We're at the Wigan Hall St Mary mooring, which is the third one, which is the one we wanted, and it was the empty one, so it worked out for us.
So basically there's 3 available EA moorings as you come north from the Denver Lock Complex. The first one coming from that direction would be Market Drayton? Nope.
Downham Market.
Downham Market. The first one would be Downham Market. The second one would be the Heron Pub.
And that one was really busy. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boats on there.
Yeah. There was 3 cruisers tripled up. And
Twice.
then 3 cruisers tripled up, and then 2 narrowboats doubled up, and then there was also a couple of little pontoon boats between them, between the cruisers. So this is the Wigan Hall St. Mary Magdalene moorings, which is apparently near a pub, but I didn't actually see it.
Obviously not as popular as the Heron.
No, it's not as popular as the Heron. And there's a bit of a walk to the ruins of the old church, and then over to Wigan Hall, where there actually is some shops and stuff. So we're going to take a little wander. Somebody has disabled the fence and lock.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is a bit weird. I'm wondering if we should reassemble it.
I don't know. I think we should report it.
And apparently people jump off this bridge to go swimming, because somebody did on the other side over there. Not a very big fall, but it did sound like cold water from the exclamation mark at the end of the Yelp. Sounds like the water's not as warm as it looks. Yeah, it was a lovely day though.
Mm.
So many waterfall about, and some raptors flying around, and
Swans.
we actually got close to some of the. I'm not sure exactly what they are. I think they're some sort of grebe or something, but they don't seem as afraid of boats as they are on the canals. Like they got quite a bit closer.
And there's lots of little fishies down here. So.
Yes, and some big fishies too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much. Very happy. And the fact that the sun is out and the sky is big and blue is just wonderful.
Yeah. Traveling through the lock was kind of interesting
Well, it was interesting.
because it was so slow.
It was really slow. Yeah, on the instructions it said, they were very good instructions. It was very clear. The key worked. Everything worked. Nothing was complicated. But the instructions said open the stacker. They don't call it the sluice like they do on other locks. Open the stacker in a controlled manner. So I did it three times to just check the flow of the water. And after the third time, I'm like, this is taking a while. I'll open it some more. Nope, I was at the maximum already.
Yeah. Other than the fact that I think you need reading material when you go into the locks.
Oh, because it takes so long.
Yeah, because it really took a long time. It was like, I wonder how long it'll take to fill.
They're very immaculate, and didn't you get that feeling?
Yeah, they're in really good condition. Most everything, from what I've read, almost all of the locks, if not all of the locks, are automated.
And the ladders are really wide and sturdy, and
yeah, you do get a sense of it being safer.
yeah.
And there's fences around the lock itself, and there's fences around everything. So not if you jump off bridges, of course, but there's definitely a sense of like somebody's been paying attention to the safety aspects, which is good. But then they've cranked down the lock to super slow, raise and lower.
To keep it
So
safe.
it's very safe. It's extremely safe. Bring a book.
Anyway, let's go and have some lunch and then go for a wander.
Yeah. Get over to the ruined church. We walk the path on the flood bank that runs between the tidal Great Ouse and the Relief Channel, and it's about a half-hour walk to the church. The stone ruins look magnificent against the blue sky. The land the ruins sit on was granted to the Austin Nuns of Crab House in 1181 and was used as a hermitage and then priory. The site was prone to flooding, and these stones appear to have been erected in the 1300s, when it became known as Wigan Hall St. James. By the 1420s, one Joan Wigan Hall was prioress, who improved the church quite considerably before she died in 1445. Sadly, in 1535, Thomas Cromwell's inspectors arrived, tasked with the dissolution of the monasteries, and the 4 nuns present were accused of quite scandalous behavior in order to justify an inquiry. The county commissioners, however, found that the women were good and virtuous, but nevertheless the priory was suppressed, and they were forced from their homes. The ancient church was then sold on 16th February 1537 for the grand sum of £9, not including the dinner plate. It's unclear precisely when it was left to ruin, but little remains of Jones' work except for some shattered fragments of leaded glass and a few carved faces. It's now maintained by the parish of Wiggenhall St. Germans. So thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, subscribe to Minimalist Maximal Velocity if you want your time-lapse videos, and click that bell if you want to get notifications.